You're listening to Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. NFL, NBA news, and more coming to you right now. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. Okay, so the rundown this week, we're going to do last week's major storylines. This week in sports history, news, AFC East expectations, and an NBA Finals update. So, last week's major storylines. Now with the NFL, we're in the process of mini camp, so there'll be more things coming out for next week's episode. But why won't Lamar sign his extension? That's the most puzzling thing of this offseason. Is why he won't just sign his massive extension. Is he trying to go the Kirk Cousins route, where he just gets franchise tagged twice and then makes a bucket load of money? Or what's he trying to do? I have no idea. But it's him that won't sign it. The Ravens have literally laid it out, have laid everything out saying, what do you want? We'll give it to you. And he won't sign it. It's really odd. Really odd. So yeah, that's a fun one for the NFL storylines. This one is not so fun. When will the NFL do something about Deshaun Watson? Now, I have mentioned Deshaun a couple of times, but I think with the new information coming out and the 24th lawsuit getting filed, as well as the New York Times story about how the Texans were involved, how there were 66 women, and that is inclusive of the 24 women that have filed lawsuits against him. So it's not exclusive, it's inclusive. Over a 17-month period. The NDA's getting signed, as well as him begging for the women afterwards to give him sex. It's disgusting. The more and more I read about it, the more and more I believe he's not playing a single snap for the Browns this year. And might not even play a single snap for the Browns next year. If the NFL wants to really stamp this behaviour out, they will make an example out of him. He is disgusting. His behaviour is just abhorrent and vile, and it makes me viscerally angry. Because how many more times are we going to hear these stories of these athletes doing this over and over and over again, and celebrities doing this over and over and over again? It's like a power struggle thing, and it makes me want to vomit. He makes me want to vomit. His actions make me want to vomit. And if I was the Browns, I would have signing regret all over this. I think maybe next week I'll do a deep dive into the Deshaun Watson. I might do a deep dive into it and make that a entire segment for next week's episode, and just do a deep dive, do some more research, read the New York Times article, read what's going on from the Cleveland perspective, from the Houston perspective, and just try and create my own thoughts and opinions and then give them to you. That might be how I go about it for next week. Yeah. So yeah, next week you'll be getting a deep dive on the Deshaun Watson scenario. Now let's get into a little more fun and a little less like over the top right now. Will Kyrie be signed and traded by the Nets? Look, if Kyrie gets signed and traded, I would love to see him reunited with LeBron. Like, I would love to see him in a Lakers gear. With the Lakers, with Anthony Davis and LeBron, and having those three back together. Those three together and also having LeBron and Kyrie back together. And they've virtually upgraded, if that's the case, they've virtually upgraded the position that Kevin Love was. Because Anthony Davis is so much better than Kevin Love. So they could create some real... That could be incredible if those three get together. And in saying that, the Lakers are in a bit of a bind salary cap wise, and it all depends on Russell Westbrook's contract. So hopefully, if they decide to get rid of him, they don't attach any assets, because that's the one thing that I don't want attached to him to leave. I'm still a little sick at the moment. I've got a really bad head cold. It's nothing else. It's just a really bad head cold, and it's just lingering, and I can't get it out of my it's literally lingering, and I've got mucus and everything everywhere. It's not been a pretty sight here at my household. This Mets team is special. And are we headed to a Subway Series World Series between the Yankees and the Mets? Look, I'd love that. Love that. But I'd also love it to be East Coast versus West Coast, Dodgers versus Yankees. That'd be great. But yeah, this Met team is special. It's special. This week in sports history, in 1989, Wayne Gretzky wins his 9th NHL Hart, which is the MVP trophy, in 10 years. If he had more personality, we would talk about him a hell of a lot more in the GOAT conversation. Yeah, we'd talk about him a hell of a lot more in the GOAT conversation. I thought that one was really poignant right now because the Stanley Cup playoffs are happening. Go Rangers! And yeah, that's a really good. Yeah, I thought that was really good. In some news, Rams coach Sean McVay got married over this past weekend. Congratulations to him and his beautiful wife, Victoria or Veronica. So I think it starts with V. It was postponed 3 times due to COVID, so I'm glad that he got married. And it was a great wedding, apparently. Aaron Donald signs his contract extension. The deal is worth $65 million guaranteed over the next 2 seasons, and up to $95 million with incentives. The 49ers have excused quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo from minicamp. I think he's still going to be with the 49ers this season. I just have this feeling. Quinn Snyder is out as head coach of the Utah Jazz. Why couldn't he have done that before the Lakers hired Darvin Ham? Even though I'm happy with Darvin Ham, I'm really happy with him. But I would have loved Quinn Snyder. And Adam Silver has contemplated making changes to the NBA season in his yearly State of the Union for the NBA. Yeah. Richard Jefferson went on a rant about it. Yeah, I'm not happy with it, but hopefully the owners step in and say, nah, that's not happening. Now let's get into some AFC East expectations. So for the Bills, my expectation for them is the Super Bowl. That's it. They have all the tools, everything that they need in order to succeed. Like, everything that they need. And if they don't succeed, And if they don't, we're going to have to look at Josh Allen in a different light. Because they've got the coach. They've got the quarterback. They've got the run game. They've got the passing game. They've got the defense. My expectation for them is the Super Bowl. It is a Super Bowl. And for Josh Allen to win the MVP. It absolutely is. Now with the Patriots, it's all going to determine off the field. And what I mean by that, I mean by coaching. I mean by the coaching structure. I mean, is Bill Belichick going to be calling offensive plays? Is Matt Patricia going to be calling offensive plays? Or is Joe Judge, who, good luck to the Patriots if Joe Judge is calling their offensive plays. He did a terrible job with the Giants. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how much Josh McDaniels actually has, what he actually brought to the Pats. So that's what I mean off the field. I mean on the field, they're a youngish team. Mac Jones needs to improve and see that sophomore leap. But yeah, it's all going to be about off the field, like a sideline type stuff. That's what it's going to take for the Pats to succeed. And I don't know what a successful season looks like for the Pats. Is it playoffs because they made it last year? Is it just not finishing last and not letting the Jets beat them? Or what is it? I don't understand. Now for the Dolphins, they have given Tua Tagovailoa everything with Tyreek Hill. I think it's playoffs should be the expectation for them. I don't see them winning this division because guess what? It's the Bills division to win. It's going to be the Bills division for the next 20 years. Sorry, all the other fan bases, but yeah, it's going to be the Bills division for the next 20 years. But if he isn't the guy, Tom Brady's going to be their quarterback for the next season, for the 2023 season. Yeah. I fully expect Tom Brady, if Tua's not the guy, to be the quarterback of the Dolphins in the 2023 season. And with the Jets, it's all about seeing improvement in Zach Wilson, seeing if he and Corey Davis can get a good rhythm together, and seeing if he and Robert Saleh are the guys for the future. That's basically the expectations for the Jets. You listen to New York Sports Talk Radio and they're like, they're going to go to the playoffs. No, you're not. Jets, just hold your horses just a little bit. Hold them just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. But yeah, it's going to be about improvement. And I think it's the Bills division. I think the Dolphins are going to finish second. Then it's going to be between the Pats and the Jets to see who finishes third. So next week it's going to be the AFC North. It's going to be the AFC South. So yeah, look forward to that. NBA Finals update. So the Golden State Warriors are 1 and the Boston Celtics are 1. And just a reminder, I have Golden State in 6. Yes, and I'm not going off that. Even if Clay is shooting terribly, they've got 2 other Splash Brothers there. So that is all for this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports Podcast. So I'll catch you all next week. Bye.